when there is no more room in hell,
Well, sometimes that is better.
the dead will walk the earth.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back. Shambling Horror Podcast episode 4. I have been a bit absent this week. As you can probably hear from my voice, we had the COVID. We had that COVID, son. I found out Wednesday we were all COVID positive, like all of us in the house. So you guys will hear it in my voice tonight. I'm sick. Still sick. But there's some stuff I wanted to go over tonight, so we're going to do that. And as always, you can find this on everywhere you can find podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, maybe soon. I'm trying to figure that out. And you can catch this live on Twitch at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Garish Zod is the name of the channel, and hopefully I'll see you there. And I'm on YouTube too. But yeah, let's do it, guys. Episode 4. We don't have a guest tonight, but I am going to go over one or two things that happened recently, within the survival horror genre that I want to go over. So yeah, let's jump right in, guys. So first thing we're going to go over is All of Us Are Dead. So what's really strange about this one is I normally sort of have my finger on like zombie stuff that's coming out, but the strange thing is, so the Koreans have been they've been slam dunking. Well, since I've started noticing, it's been probably almost like a decade. They have been like slam dunking survival horror, like media, like movies and shows, and specifically in the zombie genre, they have been killing it. No pun intended. No pun intended. They have been killing it. The funny thing is, I wonder if it's because it's a foreign market. That's why I don't necessarily hear about it. All of Us Are Dead's on Netflix. It dropped like a week ago. It's not even a week. It dropped. Well, yeah, it dropped. What day did that drop? I don't have the date on here. January 28th. So yeah, it was like a week ago. I'll give my overall thoughts. I actually don't think it's very good. And I'll explain. So, I don't think it's very good. The reviews are really good. And like I just said, the Koreans have been like knocking shit out of the park. And especially zombie shit, right? They have like Train to Busan and The Wailing and Seoul Station and Peninsula and fucking Sweet Home, and there's so many. I pulled up a list. And Kingdom, all the seasons of the Kingdom, or Kingdom, and Rampant, which I think was a movie they tied to that. And what is that? What the hell was that? Dark Circle, or whatever that movie. I actually haven't seen that other one yet. But yeah, they have been, and Squid Game, which is different, but they've just been killing it, dude. And what's the other one? Alice in Borderland. And they've just been absolutely killing it. And I did not like, there are a lot of it I didn't like. All of Us Are Dead. If you like zombie stuff, I recommend it. It's basically Train to Busan. And they even joke about that. I won't have any spoilers for it. I did not really like it. It's your Train to Busan zombie. So you kind of know what you're getting into. Super fast, aggressive, very quickly turning zombie, right? They even do the thing from Train to Busan in the Kingdom where their body gets all crackly, right? That I really enjoyed. The special effects in this show are really good. Yeah, the special effects are great. It's pretty much everything else that bothered me. It's one of those shows that the writing, it's almost like they overthought this shit. You'll have a character who will make this unexplainable fucking decision, right? They'll make this inexplicable fucking decision that will like affect other characters that like affect other characters that like affect other characters. But like, there's no actual rational reason for that character to make that decision other than they just use it as a writing plot point and it's really obvious. And like, trust me, I like zombie shit. So like, this one was hard for me not to really like. I recommend it if you like zombie stuff, but I was kind of like, eh. The American voice acting was also really bad. It was really bad. I'm telling you, I almost couldn't get through the first episode. And then the zombies started killing people, and I was like, all right, bet. Like, all right, bet, dude. Like, I'm good. But, yeah. They also do a lot of boneheaded shit in the show. Like, a bunch of people will be trapped in a room with the zombies on the outside and a fucking window. And someone in the room will start turning, and they all know that, like, once you turn, you're a zombie. There's no going back from that. And they all know that once you're bitten, you're turning into a zombie. And the person will literally be lying on the floor, turning into a zombie like this. And they're all standing around like this. And not only does nobody grab anything heavy and bash its fucking head in, nobody tosses it out the window that's like 7 floors up, right? And I'm sitting there, like, there were multiple times during the show that I was sitting there, and I was like, toss his ass out the window. Yeah, and it's funny because at one point, like halfway through the show, someone says that, like, toss him out the window, and I was like, wow, it only took you 6 fucking episodes to figure out to toss the infected out a fucking window before they bite your fucking dick off, right? Like, yeah, maybe I'm overcritical, actually, but like, the show is fine. I mean, I would recommend it to like my friends who like zombie shit. To my friends who don't, I mean, I'd recommend like The Kingdom. The Kingdom is way better, dude. The writing in that show is way better. Like, the thing is, and especially for Netflix, right? Netflix is a much broader audience than like a lot of other like streaming platforms, or like if it was just like an indie film, right? It's a much broader audience. So it would be like Amazon who put this out. It's a much broader audience. So the problem is, not everybody comes for the zombies. Like it or not, there has to be some not zombie shit that's like compelling. And The Kingdom does that really well. The Walking Dead does that a little too well sometimes. But like, this doesn't do that well. Not at all. Like, not at all. It's not that great. There are some cool moments in the show. I'm not gonna like bag on it, like badly bag on it. There are some cool moments, like, I'm not really gonna spoil it, but there's a part where like there's some like cool effects, like there's a part where this like zombie like bends itself over backwards and like breaks all its shit, and it's going and it's like cool as fuck. If you like zombie stuff, I mean, I guess I could recommend it. I would recommend that you watch a ton of other shit first, like Soul Station or Train to Busan, like I said, or The Kingdom. The Kingdom is like perfect. That show is so fucking perfect. It's on Netflix. It's a Korean zombie show. I'd recommend that shit way. Or Rampant, which is basically The Kingdom. I want to say, I don't remember if they were tied together or not, but yeah, I recommend that over this. Just watch that. Or Sweet Home was good. Yeah, I did not prefer this. I'm sure they'll get a second season, and I'm sure I'll watch it, but it got rated really high, so. Yeah, it's got like an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is weird. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it again, it'll like come around for me. If you like zombie shit, it's on Netflix. If you like zombie stuff, just, I mean, you turn it on, turn your brain off, like, oh, like, zombies eating people, you know, or whatever. But I will tell you, it's a little rough. There are some themes in All of Us Are Dead that are not for everybody. How do I not spoil this? Like, sexual assault and, like, bullying to the point where people want to, like, harm themselves. That's putting it lightly within the terms of service. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And like, just fucking like, what is it? What do you call it when you kill your kids? That patricide? Like baby murder. There's like all kind of really fucking awful themes in the show. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's why I warned you guys. Like, there's some really heavy, and they hit you in like the first and second episode immediately. Yeah, they hit you in like the first and second episode like immediately. Like it was not. I mean, well, it sort of sets up the story, and I don't really want to spoil it, but like it was rough. Like, Katie is just sort of doesn't like that kind of shit and stuff she watches, and she didn't finish watching it. She said, I don't want to watch this no more. And I said, okay, I will finish watching it. She was like, I'm out, and I'm glad she was, because it just sort of escalates. But the reason they did it was because those characters who do those things end up either having consequences and get fucked, or like it sort of ties in, like their actions lead to shit, if that makes sense. Right? Like, I mean, it's character building. It's just really shitty. Like, it's a shitty situation. But it's one of those things where the show sort of makes you root for that person to get fucked up. And when they finally do, you're like, yes. Yeah, it's on Netflix. I really don't got anything else to say about it. All of Us Are Dead. I would not recommend this to everybody. I'll be honest with you, I would not recommend this to anybody who doesn't like zombie shit. And Koreans have been putting out some fucking wonderful shit on Netflix the last like 2-3 years. Like, everything they put out is fucking great. Especially on Netflix, and this is not it. This is not that. I actually suggest you guys watch The Wailing. I don't know if any of you guys ever watched this. It won a shitload of awards. It came out a couple of years ago. I don't know where you can find this now. But this has probably one of the funniest. This is a Korean like zombie film, kind of. It's like supernatural. It's like weird. This has probably one of the funniest, like, scary, funny scenes I've seen in a long time. It's not a spoiler, but these two people are standing in this like lobby, and they're like talking, and the power goes out, and they're like talking, and the camera's panned where like you can see them, but you can see the door, like the vestibule and like the outside, and it's raining. And they're talking, and as they're talking, this like zombie woman comes up, and she's like naked, and she's like standing there like this, and the power goes out, and she's standing there like this, and they're talking, and all of a sudden the dude goes, ah! And he like screams like a girl, and he falls down, and he's like, there's a naked lady. And the dude's like, what? And he's like, holy shit, there's a naked lady. It's like the funny, like, their reaction is so goddamn funny. And they like walk over and they're like, why is there a naked lady? What? It's so funny. Like, their reaction is so fucking fun. Cause they're like, at first they're like, what? And they're like, should we go help her? And they're like, what? Their reaction is hilarious. Like, that movie is weird because it's like really, The Wailing is weird because it's like, it does a lot of things really well. Like, it's like scary, and it's like endearing, and it's like goofy. I don't know. It's really, really good though. I recommend it. The Wailing's cool. It's not really like anything else I've ever seen. It's very strange. And the villain is like goofy as shit. The villain is like a naked, well, it's not really a spoiler, but the villain is like a naked dude who like walks around the woods, like just eats deer and shit and people. It's like strange. But But yeah, I recommend like the Wailing or like Kingdom or Peninsula was really good. That's the Train to Busan sequel. But yeah, okay, so I'm gonna give my thoughts on Dying Light 2. And then we're gonna wrap this podcast up. It'll be a shorter episode. And then we're gonna play some Dying Light. I'm gonna stream it. Moving on from All of Us Are Dead. Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 came out this week. And actually, it's weird. Because it came out on like what was it? Like Thursday, but it was like during the day. It was weird because I had pre-ordered it like a while ago. I had pre-ordered it like a while ago. And it like it was weird because like I had pre-ordered it a while ago and it was loaded. And it like I pre-ordered it, I want to say it was like last year. And the strange thing, it was like last like I want to say it was around like fall of last year. Because I think that's when they dropped the release date. And it just like showed up at like 5 o'clock or some shit. Like I saw people streaming it and I was confused. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it just dropped at like 5 p.m. or some shit. It was confusing on Thursday and it wasn't supposed to be out till Friday. I honestly think maybe that's because the studio that puts it out is in Europe, so maybe that's why it dropped so early here. I don't know. But either way, Dying Light 2 came out. I have played a bunch of hours of this game. I have not even scratched the surface of it yet. So I won't give you like my final opinion on this game, but I will give you some like different things. So one of the things that actually bothered me, which I'll jump into right away, is this. So one of the things that really kind of bothered me, it's going to sound kind of nitpicky, but let me find that picture. So, and I'll pull it up here on screen so you guys can find it. So, this. So one of the things that bothered me about Dying Light 2, and I'll give you my pros and cons so far, is for one, they're selling that game. So it's a last-gen game. Dying Light 2 is a last-gen game. It was made for the last-gen consoles. What is that? Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So they ported it over to the PS5 and the new Xbox, but it's capped at like 1080, 60 in their performance mode. So like, it doesn't upscale really good, basically, on the PS5. And it doesn't have DLSS or whatever. I can't remember I can't know how to fucking pronounce that shit. But it doesn't have any of the upscaling on the new consoles. So like, you're basically, you're not even getting like the PS5 version. You're getting the PS4 version on the PS5. So like the owners of the new consoles feel kind of cheated. And also apparently had a shitload of bugs and shit on the consoles. Enough that I actually got it on PC and then this happened. This nonsense. You can't see it if you're listening to the podcast on audio, you won't see this, but basically, so I have a 5700 XT, to put this in perspective, like 32 gigs of RAM, 5700 XT, which is basically 2070 Super, and a 3900X. And most games, like, I have to sort of tweak them a bit. Like, my system's really good, but I have to tweak them a little, and they're fine. I can run any game off stream all day on Ultra and not have to worry about it. But if you're a content creator like me, you have to sort of, like, test your system and, like, tweak a game sometimes to, like, figure out, like, okay, what are the best settings to run and stream this shit at the same time, or, like, record this shit, right? Like, you have to do that sometimes. So, because I don't have, like, a fucking $10,000 PC. So what happened is, I could not get, so I got this game to run 60 frames, 2K, which is what I do everything in, 1440p. I do everything in 1440p. Had no problems. Right? Had to tweak some things here and there. Problem is, when I went to stream this game, I could not get it to stabilize at 60 FPS. I could not. It would jump between 60 and 55 in my OBS, which is what I use to record everything. So I was like, that's not going to work. So when I did some research, it turns out this is ray tracing, in-game ray tracing, ambient occlusion quality, global illumination quality, and reflection quality. That is ray tracing, and they didn't label it as ray tracing. As soon as I turn those to low, low, none, or low, 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 it immediately stabilized. The entire game stabilized. And I've seen other people who were saying that if you play Dying Light 2, that right there can fuck up your frames. It can fuck up your frames. That right there. So, like, I feel like they did a disservice and they should put fucking ray tracing on there. Like, my graphics card, you know what's funny is I'm not even sure it even fucking supports ray tracing. So, like, I turn that shit off. Yeah, I highly recommend if you're playing this game, and especially on PC, I don't even know if you could turn this off on console. You probably can't. But if you're on PC and you're having frame issues, try turning these down. It's not really going to make your game look significantly fucking worse. Turn this shit down, and I'm telling you, I bet your frames will come up. I know, I mean it. I really mean it. It happened to me. Although, to be fair, this was more so affecting me. This more so affected me in recording and streaming than like in game. Cause I could get like a fucking over 100 frames a second. Although I haven't turned this shit back on. I need to test it again. I only wanted to go over this because like I know friends of mine who would probably have issues with this. Like people on lower end PCs, like mid to like lower end PCs who want to play this, you can play this. But that is probably going to fuck you up. Yeah, they put ray tracing in game, but they didn't label it ray tracing. But there's a lot I love about this game. I didn't mean to like jump right in with the negative stuff. I just wanted to kind of give you the game is really, 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 really good. And I'm gonna stream it later. Stuff I like about the game. One of the thing I don't, so stuff I like about the game. So it's really fun. Like the combat's super fun. It's basically Dying Light 1. Like, you get a weapon, or Dead Island, if you played that. You get a weapon, you smash the fucking zombie over the head or person, and their body parts go, they added a bunch of new cool shit, like, you can, like, vault kick, you can do, like, a block, and, like, stagger somebody, and, like, vault kick over that motherfucker, like, and kick somebody else's head off, and, like, there's all kind of neat shit they added. I know from the trailer there's a paraglider, which I haven't gotten yet. I haven't even gotten that far yet. But the actual combat is a blast. There's like you can dodge and all kind of neat shit. It's a lot of fun. The weapon mods are cool. I mean, that's basically from Dying Light 1. I mean, I'm trying to remember from Dying Light 1 if there were like, there's even like a vendor where you can like collect the head of zombies and like get upgrades and shit. And there's like, it's neat. Like the progression systems are neat. The NPCs are pretty good. The voice acting's a little hokey. You know what's weird is it actually feels like, it feels like a Bethesda. It feels like a Bethesda MMO, not MMO, but it feels like a Bethesda RPG. Like, do you guys know what I mean when I say that? When you got like how your quest givers sort of talk to you and you can interact with them and stuff, and like it honestly feels, and that's not a bad thing. It feels like a Skyrim or a Fallout. It's like it's weird. They added in a like resistance system. And I promise I won't spoil anything for the game, but they added in like a resistance system where like you can only stay out at night for so long before you actually become infected. Yeah, it's like weird. And like the only way to prevent that is to go under like UV light. And there's some other ways which I won't spoil, but and it resets during the daytime. And they added in like actual chase sequences now where like at night you can go out. Yeah, at night you can go out, but like they're like, do you guys remember in the first game there were those what are they, volatiles or whatever the fuck they were that would they had those cone patterns and it would search you out, and if they found you, they would all start chasing you. They expanded that. Basically, without spoiling it, there's certain creatures that if they see you at night, there's your normal, like, will chase you creatures, but like the zombies are way more aggressive at night, which they were before. But the thing is, there's certain things that happen at night that if they see you, they will start what's called a chase sequence. And there are different levels of chase. And depending on how severe it gets is how bad it gets. And like, they will fucking chase you. And the only way to get through that is to get to, like UV light. So like, they basically took that mechanic from the first game and like added levels to it. It's really fucking cool. They also added like missions that are like way more rewarding at night. So like in the first game, you could go out at night and the rewards were better. But like this is like very specifically, and the zombies act differently. So like if you try and go in one of those areas during the daytime, you get fucked up because that's where everything is. It's in there. But if you go in there at night, everything is gone and everything that's in there is asleep. They're all sleeping. There's zombies that like sleep during the day. So like, yeah. So like you can sort of sneak around and shit. And it's still like dangerous, but it's not nearly as dangerous. It's dangerous getting there, but once you get in there, it's not nearly as bad. Yeah, it's like weird. I enjoyed it a lot though. Dying Light 2 is really good. I'd recommend it. Honestly, I don't think it's as bad as I don't think the game is bad. I don't think it's as bad as some people are saying it is. I honestly think that I don't really understand why. Maybe it's still like there's like some visual pop in and shit. Like you'll notice, we're gonna play it here in a minute, and you'll notice like weird little pop-ins here and there. Like it's nothing crazy. Like I haven't experienced anything game breaking. I guess other people have, which sucks. I can only tell you from my experience, like there's been some like visual pop in here and there, and there's like this weird like a lens flare that I noticed sometimes when you go into real dark areas and notice a little flash. It's like weird. I don't know what the fuck. But like the actual moment to moment gameplay is fun as shit. So and the story's not terrible. I don't think it's awful. But I don't know, like doing parkour through a city and smashing a zombie in the head with a machete is fun to me. So I don't need anything super deep. Like it's good. But I think that will pretty much cover it, I think, for the podcast. Yeah, guys, I think that'll cover it for the podcast. Let's wrap this podcast up. If you're listening to this after the recording, we do these on Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, twitch.tv/GarethZod. You can also find this podcast everywhere you find podcasts and on my YouTube, which is also GarethZod. Links to all that will be in the description for the podcast. Yeah, you guys make sure you check out the live stream. We have live chat and stuff, interact with live chat. Yeah, guys, I will catch you in the next episode of the podcast. Bye.